Justice on the NHL ice is often brutally swift, unrelenting, and more often than not, outrageously expensive. Habs Nation. When you've got a player on your roster eating up $8.7 million of your salary cap, and that guy delivers exactly 1 assist in just 5 games played all season, the hourglass flips. Time runs out fast. And it seems the clock on Patrick Laine, wearing the iconic Montreal Canadiens jersey, has reached its end in a way no one could have predicted. But before I reveal how the front office plans to offload one of the league's heftiest contracts, I've got a provocative question to toss right into your lap. Would you trade your biggest current problem for a player who's mired in the worst slump of his career on another team, just to scrape together some pocket change and then go fishing for a massive shark right after? Hold that thought, because what insider Nick Kypreos from Sportsnet just dropped isn't merely a trade deadline rumor. It's the blueprint of a financial engineering masterpiece that could completely shift the balance of power in both the East and the West. We're going to dive deep into how a potential trade sending Patrick Laine to the desperate Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Andrew Mangiapane isn't the end of the story. It's the perfect domino. It's the surgical move Ken Hughes, our general manager, needed to go all in on the most aggressive, competitive name available on the market today, Nazem Kadri. Let's lay the cards on the table and be ice cold about our own situation. Patrick Laine was a gamble, a calculated risk the front office took in the past. The raw talent, that sniper shot he showcased early in his career with Winnipeg, is still buried somewhere deep inside. But the reality of the 2025-26 season is tough to swallow. Between injuries that sidelined him in October and lackluster performances when he returned, Laine simply hasn't found his place in Martin St. Louis's tactical system. With his contract expiring at the end of this year, he's gone from a beacon of scoring hope to a financial anchor on a team that needs to accelerate its roster construction. Kypreos was blunt. Montreal is looking to move his money and might be willing to spend an asset to make it happen. This is where Kent Hughes' brilliance shines. The magic word to pull off this deal is salary retention. Unlike many teams choked by the league's cap constraints, the Canadiens have all 3 of their salary retention slots untouched and empty. Retaining 50% of Laine's salary means swallowing $4.35 million, but only until June of this season. It's money that was already spent anyway. You absorb half the debt, throw the player onto the market at a much more attractive price, and clear the decks for next year. The math is beautiful. Now, cast your eyes to the west coast of Canada. Look at the Edmonton Oilers. This is a team of the best player on the planet, Connor McDavid. A team that sees the championship window knocking every spring, only to often slam face first into a wall. They're sitting second in the tough Pacific Division, chasing the Vegas Golden Knights. But the front office and fans know they're short on firepower. Pierre LeBrun from The Athletic reported that Oilers scouts held a heavy meeting last week and emerged with a life-or-death mission. They need top 9 forwards. They need secondary scoring for when McDavid and Draisaitl are resting or get neutralized by elite defenses. The problem? The Oilers face an insurmountable hurdle. They have a measly $2.88 million in cap space. For those who don't grasp the gravity, $2.88 million in today's NHL is what you use to pay the arena's electric bill. They can't buy anything impactful off the top shelf without sending back a heavy contract in return. And guess who's a heavy contract that's become persona non grata in the Alberta locker room? Andrew Mangiapane. At 29 years old, Mangiapane is living a prolonged nightmare on the ice. He's managed a pitiful 12 points in 49 games this season. The numbers don't add up. He's earning $3.6 million through next season and has become a square peg in Coach Chris Knobloch's tactical round hole. The situation has reached such a breaking point that he's already being benched as a healthy scratch. The atmosphere is untenable. Mangiapane needs a one-way ticket out of Edmonton. I want to pause the breakdown for a second to hear your inner GM, weighing a disengaged Patrick Laine against a slumping Andrew Mangiapane. Who do you think has a better shot at resurrecting their career with a change of scenery today? Laine getting passes from Connor McDavid, or Mangiapane skating under Martin St. Louis's guidance? Make a bold bet in the comments, because the reality check will hit hard when these two step onto the ice for new teams. Let's get back to the one-for-one trade math, which is pure poetry for league executives. If the Oilers receive Patrick Laine with 50% of the salary retained by us, the cap hit on their books is $4.35 million. In return, the Canadiens take on Andrew Mangiapane, removing $3.6 million from Edmonton's ledger. The net difference Edmonton adds to their payroll? Just $750,000. It fits perfectly into their tiny cap space. They gain a monstrous finisher who could be lethal parked in the left circle on a power play with Draisaitl and McDavid, paying nearly the same as they did for a guy watching games from the press box. But don't think the Montreal Canadiens would do this kind of charity just for kicks. Kent Hughes' plan is a far more ambitious and aggressive chess labyrinth. The article raises a dangerous point. Adding Mangiapane to our payroll only frees up about $900,000 in net cap relief. We already have nearly $1 million available. So we'd be sitting with less than $2 million to go shopping. This sparks the obvious suspicion that Montreal might involve a third team in the deal, immediately flipping Mangiapane to another club for a low draft pick. If we pull that off, we clear the full $4.35 million of Laine's retained salary. The vault door would be wide open. And why would we need the vault door wide open in early March? Because there's an elite predator circling the shores of Montreal. His name is Nazem Kadri. Yes, we've already brought back Philip Danault this season for stability. But the brilliant analyst Chris Johnston didn't mince words. Montreal needs far more aggression to wreak havoc. To make a real playoff run, you need strength, malice, and experience down the middle. Nazem Kadri is the pure essence of hockey from October to June. He hits hard, scores under pressure, rents a penthouse in opponents' heads, and has the experience of carrying the Colorado Avalanche to a Stanley Cup title. Johnston stated categorically that Kadri's presence would instantly raise our team ceiling. Of course, there are real concerns. His contract runs 3 more years at $7 million per season, and he's not getting any younger. But the game-changing insider info is this. Kadri has a clause listing 13 teams he refuses to be traded to. And, according to league sources, the Montreal Canadiens are not on that list. He wants to come. He wants the spotlight of the Bell Center. Just imagine, close your eyes, and picture our center depth in the playoffs. Nick Suzuki as the technical star. Nazem Kadri as a second-line nightmare, intimidating everyone. And Philip Danault shutting down the opponent's top scorers. 3 players who master the art of winning face-offs, skate the full 200 feet, and play with fire in their eyes. To make the arrival of the $7 million beast possible, trading Patrick Laine to Edmonton or elsewhere isn't just an interesting option. It's a corporate survival necessity. It's the first domino that must fall. We're staring at a complex chessboard where the key pieces are out of the shadows. The trade deadline looms on March 6, 2026. The dust in the Olympics will barely settle before the war in the front offices erupts. But in the NHL, the bigger predator almost always strikes the one who hesitates. What if the Edmonton Oilers balk at the last second, terrified by Laine's medical history, and refuse to take the risk? And the scarier scenario, what if a direct rival from our own division is already on the phone with the Calgary Flames right now, ready to steal Nazem Kadri from under our nose while Kent Hughes struggles to offload Mangiapane's salary? A multi-million-dollar time bomb is ticking in our franchise's office. Cut the wrong wire, and this epic season's planning turns to dust. I'm throwing all the tactical pressure of this decision onto you. Do you have the ice in your veins to ship Patrick Laine west right now, taking on all the risks of a long, expensive contract like Nazem Kadri's to push for a wild Stanley Cup run this season? Or do you believe bringing in an aging, costly veteran is a classic trap that sabotages our young core's development and dooms us to a painful rebuild in 3 years? Think fast. Carve your arguments into the comments and brace yourself, because the market is about to ignite.